Hello blog readers, this is Tony Ranke. Welcome to my library. So many of you have recently asked to see it, and here it is. It won't fit in a photograph, so I broke out the video camera and I'm going to take you through my basement library. It all starts up here with the Old Testament theology, Old Testament introduction, and then my commentaries on Genesis and so forth, following the scriptural books. See those? We have some kids' books on the bottom there, easy reach for the kids. And then my New Testament commentaries begin on the next column. New Testament theology, New Testament introduction, and then Matthew, and going through the Gospels, and then into Acts, the epistles. I usually have about one exegetical commentary, one expositional commentary, and one devotional commentary on each book of the Bible, like give or take. Easier to find good commentaries on the New Testament, especially devotional ones. And so there are my commentaries and the epistles. Now you get into, let's see, I've got a section here for biblical counseling. Right there. Some John Piper books and just some miscellaneous volumes. Some of these books are definitely not in any kind of order, but they're just there to get them out of the way. And then I read a lot of books on how to write. So I have a whole section here on books on writing, which is always something that's very fascinating to me. And those sit next to my unused Bibles. Those are different translations and whatnot that are not currently in use. And then I've got a section for the old Princeton guys, for B.B. Warfield, J. Gresham Machen, and some Jerry Bridges books over here. Then we've got preaching and biblical leadership books down here. Some of my Sovereign Grace books and extras here. And then just a bunch of random volumes that are either not categorized or will never be. Then up top I have my church history and history of preaching section. So this goes through those two topics. I've also got some biographies up here. Whitfield, Lloyd Jones, Tyndale, whatnot. Then I've got an entire shelf dedicated to Calvin and Calvinism. It starts with the Institutes. And I just have a bunch of volumes, some new ones that have not been categorized yet. And then down here I have an entire shelf, a growing shelf, on books that cover the topics related to the gospel, the cross, the death of Christ. Wanting always to feed my soul on these kinds of books at all times. Good shelf reminder that there's a lot to read. And then some more miscellaneous books below that. Some apologetics on the right side. And then again some more uncategorized books on the bottom. Up on the top of my shelves, I currently have some books that need to be categorized yet. And then the complete commentary by John Gill is up there. And then Calvin's commentary is up there, alongside Matthew Henry's commentary on the whole Bible. Some Puritans and Luther also are on the top shelf. Then below that, I have my Octavius Winslow and Horatius Bonar section, along with Charles Spurgeon. And a figurine from one of my kids, I assume. Then I have patristics. Augustine is a great patristic author, obviously, well known in church history. His sermons on the Psalms, I love to read, Confessions, and then some general patrology books, and some systematic theology and ethics. Then these are more theological topical books, a series, and Francis Schaeffer's works. Then I have my Greek, J.C. Ryle, and miscellaneous volumes also down there. Then in the corner, I try and keep all of my systematic theology together, at least the one-volume systematic theologies, and those run all the way from pretty much floor to ceiling. Bavinck, Turretin shelf. And then I get into books about the Puritans. So those are a shelf devoted to books about the Puritans and Reformers. And then it gets into my Puritans, such as Richard Sibb's complete works are there, some miscellaneous volumes down below. And then this is the shelf that I call my Puritan study. This is the shelf that really showcases the Puritans that I most appreciate. On the very top shelf, I have a shelf devoted to Jonathan Edwards. His Banner of Truth works, some previously unpublished sermon manuscripts, biography, Soli Deo Gloria volumes, a couple biographies, new volumes. And then I don't have place for them yet, but on the side of this, then I have my Yale editions of the works of Jonathan Edwards. Below Edwards, on the main Puritan study shelf, I have my shelf of John Owen. Got the Banner of Truth volumes, the Crossway, and Christian Focus titles, and then books about John Owen or abridgments. And I have some of my Dutch guys down here, John Bunyan's down here as well, John Flavel, his complete works. Below that is Thomas Brooks and his complete works, along with Thomas Goodwin, his 12-volume works as well. Jeremiah Burroughs' works are down here as well. John Newton, Thomas Boston, and some just a number of miscellaneous Puritan sets down here. And I have a complete rack just for the works of Thomas Manton, all 22 volumes there, recent printing. And then I've got a number of miscellaneous volumes that I'm currently working through or have recently completed. And then next to Edwards' Yale editions, I have a number of books that I'm working through right now. Gerhardus Voss, his works are particularly useful for me right now. And then I have some business books that I'm reading, and just some other commentaries and whatnot that I'm presently reading. So that is my library, from Genesis to Edwards to business books to whatever's down here. That's my library.